Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to AFS at the Marquesa and the Austin theatrical premiere of Bob Byington's Seven Chinese Brothers. My name is Holly Herrick, and I'm the Associate Artistic Director at AFS. And many of you who come to our screenings know that we love to show wonderful movies on the big screen here at the Marquesa, and that's a big part of what AFS does. But another very important program to us is our Artist Services Program, which gives away $100,000 in cash grants annually to emerging Texas filmmakers. And Bob Byington has been the recipient of this grant several times, and it's helped him in the production of his films, including Seven Chinese Brothers. He's also been the recipient of our annual travel grant, which is money that we give away to Texas filmmakers to help them bring their work to film festivals, which then gives them the exposure that they need to keep getting their work made. So the travel grant is a very important part of what we do and how we support Texas filmmakers locally. And the group that is fundraising for that grant is here in the house. So I'd just like to recognize the indies. If you are a part of that committee that has been helping us fundraise for that, we want to give you a round of applause. Bob took this movie to San Francisco to be in the International Film Festival in San Francisco this past spring, and it was thanks to the work of this committee raising those funds, so thanks so much. So, Seven Chinese Brothers, a film that premiered at South by Southwest that we fell in love with. We are so happy to have supported it through our granting program. And we have the director, Bob Byington, here to introduce the film to you. It's going to open in Austin and New York and cities all across the United States on August 28th. So, spread the word to show how great Austin film is after you've seen this movie, and tell your friends to see it. So let's welcome Bob Byington and to give us a few words about the movie.
Thank you, Holly. Yes, thank you. We've screened the movie in Austin, but this is the first time we've asked people to pay as much as we asked you to pay for it. So that places some light pressure on the film, I think. But you're also less likely to walk out having paid money, in my experience. I don't know why that works that way psychologically. I'm sure someone could explain it to me afterwards. Jason is going to do a Skype with me and Holly afterwards, and that's something that I can recommend. I don't know that I can recommend the film, but I can recommend the Skype. I can guarantee the Skype will be fun and interesting. The movie, I have seen this movie more than 300 times, and so I don't really like it anymore. But I've made movies, and I know that what happens is I cycle toward an affection for them, and so by Christmas I'll like this movie again. It's kind of a Christmas present for myself. Anyway, so we're going to do that. I don't usually talk this much before the movie, but the credits are kind of really long. They're like 4 minutes long, and I wish they weren't so long. It's kind of boring. But you can check your phone, I think, right? Like
Maybe during the credits we might let that go. Please don't check your phone during the movie.
No, not during the movie, of course, but what I recommend is like watching the first 45 seconds of the credits and then checking your phone. And then if you have to go to the bathroom, you can do that. Preferably, in the... and then Jason will be here and all will be great. So thank you, we'll see you afterwards.
Thanks, Bob. Please join me in welcoming back Bob Byington.
Thank you.
And I think we're going to get Jason Schwartzman on the screen in just a second.
Always a pleasure.
I hope so.
Hi, Jason. Welcome back to Austin, virtually.
Yes, hi. Can you see me?
We can't see you yet, but we can hear you.
We just see your name.
Let me know. Watch this.
We'll give it a second until Ryan... oh, here we go. There you are. We can see you.
Hello.
You don't have to do that. Hi, Bob.
What do you see us, or what do you see?
I see AFS. Literally the letters AFS.
Yeah. So he's not going to be able to hear you. So when we ask you questions, we'll repeat your questions into the microphone, and that way Jason will be able to hear everything. So Bob, can you tell us a little bit about when you're? I mean, the film is very much in your style, and I'm wondering how you and Jason got together to collaborate on this wonderful character.
That's a good question. I met Jason at the Cine Family in Los Angeles in, I guess, was it 2013, Jason, or was it 2012?
Yeah.
I can't remember, but we were doing a Q&A with Nick Offerman, and we met, and I sort of made a joke about trying to get Jason and Nick to do a movie, and then that sort of planted the seed, I think, of maybe trying to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw somebody up there likes me, I felt that I wanted to work with Bob because there was something about that movie. It had like a space to it, and yet it was funny. It was and which is something that I feel like sometimes you see lots of movies that have breath and air and space, but they're more serious in nature. And I like that it was funny, but also it had an atmosphere. And so I thought, wow, I'd like to be a part of a movie like that. And then when I met Bob at the Q&A, I don't know, I think that we hit it off, and it was a really fun night. And it wasn't too long after that we started to talk about this movie.
And you had told me that you'd sort of determined you were going to do the movie after Alex Perry's movie, Listen Up, Philip. And you had decided, I guess, to do it, but I always felt like you were still deciding. But is it true that you had sort of decided?
Yeah, I felt that, like, in my mind, I've never, for the record, had it work out that I ever knew what I was going to be doing next, work-wise. A lot of people seem to have that. The actors, they have, like, if you look on their IMDb pages or whatever, they just have it all. They have their year charted out in front of them. But I never had that kind of thing happen. It was this movie and Listen Up, Philip. They both entered my life basically at the same time. Listen Up, Philip slightly before, but I met Bob and Alex almost at the exact same time. And yeah, I always just felt that, and I always thought we were going to do this movie, and in many ways, pardon me, I made Listen Up, Philip thinking that we were going to do this movie, and I think that they have something to do with each other in a weird way.
Yeah, I did too. And I was going to say, if you haven't
like when I was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was going to tell the audience that if you like Jason and you haven't seen Listen Up, Philip, it's online for free on Amazon, and it's really good, and you like it.
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, the characters are going through existential struggles in both movies, but they're on very different trajectories. And I'm wondering if how you guys, because it sounded like this was conceived as part of a collaboration, and how did you determine that it was going to be this guy who is in this sort of listless point in his life and needs to sort of figure out how to become an adult?
Can we make it
Yeah,
a little
it's a good question.
smaller?
I mean,
Can we make it smaller on the screen? Sorry, I like
I'm not
to
sure.
Yeah, you're a little bit too big.
You want me to back up?
What's that? Are you camping or what's going on?
I'm not camping. No, I'm not. That's just someone's backpack that looks like they were camping. It's just a JanSport.
Well, you were going to play this guy, and I think that one thing we did when we rehearsed, you had determined that you were going to kind of mix in a little bit more oomph than we had on the page, and I'm really glad you made that decision. because the script kind of, Larry lays there and kind of takes it a little bit, and Jason decided that he was going to maybe fight a little more. Is that accurate?
Yeah, but also still, I think it was, doing this movie, it was really like enlightening for me in a way, because I don't think it was until I did this movie that I realized that other work that I have done in movies, the characters really have like one thing that they want, and they want it really badly. You know, or at least when I was doing those other movies, I felt like, okay, they want this one thing and they're going after it. With this movie, it was really interesting because there wasn't one thing I could grab onto in a way like that in the beginning, and it was really like it was scary and hard, and but I think that it also, that is like that kind of thing that perhaps was so great about the script, and also Bob like is not afraid to let it be funny and also let it sit for a second and have like a kind of like a stillness. I can't describe it, but it was really fun and really hard to do, but really so fun.
Well, I would say, for my part, you know, the first day that we shot, we had been rehearsing and working on Larry, and the first thing that we shot of you that was when Larry's sitting in the office and they're going to fire him, and he says to Don, "Why are you always looking at your arms?" And that was a kind of bit that we had just drawn up. It wasn't in the original script. We had just sort of drawn it up to do. Are you there?
Yeah.
And I remember that Jason kind of looked up at our friend Jonathan Togo and was like, "Why are you doing that with your arms?" And I knew right away that he was going to be playing this guy just a little bit differently from how it was written, in a way that was a relief to me. And I think Jason was more aware that you kind of like add something to it, and it was, otherwise it wouldn't work.
Well, also like maybe there was a, you know, the result is going to sort of be the same. Like Larry is going to, let's just say like he's going to get hit. Well, there's like, there's something like that just felt like right for Larry, that he almost like, instead of just like getting hit, that he would almost like provoke it. Either way, he probably knows it's going to happen, but like he's not afraid of it in a way. But there's no doubt he's always going to get hit. It's sort of a thing. You know what I mean? In a way with Larry.
Yeah.
So Bob, you've worked in Austin a number of times, and it's so interesting how you work with this city, because it's atypical, and I think that in this movie, you've taken sort of the blander sides of Austin and given them stories. And I'm wondering if you can talk about like your choice to set it in the sort of strip mall, Buca de Beppo world.
I don't know how deliberate that was. I know that when I wrote the script that it was kind of in this world. But, I mean, I would never try to, like, make something bland. I mean, that's not fair to the audience. You're going to be bland, you'll be fighting blandness anyway, so. But I knew that the Buca we shot in was really right, and I knew the Quick Loop was really right. I knew that the old folks' home was really right, and Larry's apartment was probably the biggest wild card, and that took some time. Jason, I don't know if you remember going over and looking at it before it was done.
Yeah.
And we were trying to just get a feel for it, and like we had a couch in there that didn't work, and we were just trying to get it right. So, but I know seeing those locations with Jason also really helped me to get it. I remember thinking we needed to see that apartment before it was done with you.
Yeah, it was good to go over there. It's really nice to go over there and just scout it.
And then I think we got those paintings of Arrow after that, right? We had you send a few of those from LA, right?
Yeah, I have, I just like have a bunch of stuff of Arrow, either that, I had just gotten like a painting done of him for fun one time, but then for my wife and I's wedding, people gave us some arrow stuff, like an arrow painting and then an embroidered pillow with Arrow's face on it.
Who was the best? Who was the best man at the wedding?
Arrow. Who was the best man? He had a bow tie.
So before we take questions from the audience, how is Arrow doing?
He's doing good. He's I'm in New York right now, and he's in Los Angeles, living at my mom's house with her.
We love Arrow.
He's only done one. Arrow's only done one Q&A, and he's been kind of. He's kind of over it. He doesn't.
Yeah. It's just he doesn't. He doesn't like it. I think he's trying to keep it private. But I kept saying to him, this is part of... He says, this isn't the job. The job is the acting. And I say, no, this is part of it. You have to help explain where you were coming from and stuff. But by the time I'm saying that, he's out the door already.
He's a true purist.
He's a purist. He's a purebred.
So, any questions from the audience? And again, I'm going to repeat them for you, Jason, so it might be a little quiet.
Okay.
Questions out there? Yes, ma'am.
Why the name for the movie?
I can't hear her.
So, can you talk about the choice of the title, Bob, and some ideas behind that choice? And I know it changed a few times. Or
Since
did
you have Jason on Skype, maybe do you want to talk about the title for a second? Or it's weird because I can see you and you can't see me, so it's like a little confusing to communicate with you.
I like it. I mean, I like Bob in any way that I can get him. Bob, by the way, is a great text messenger. Just on a side note, I feel like I don't even need to see him, like, just to be happy. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But the title, it's my side of it is that Bob said, I'm going to send you this movie that I've been working on, Seven Chinese Brothers, and I thought to myself, Seven Chinese Brothers, what's going to happen? And I got the script and I read it, and there is no mention of seven Chinese or brothers in it, but I thought to myself, maybe this is some kind of a test that Bob is doing, and if I ask him when we sit down to talk about it, so what does the title mean? That means I'm not ready for it. Kind of like a Buddhist koan. Like, if you have to ask the question, then you're not right for this movie. And that's what I went with, and believe me, I wanted to ask him every day on the set, but I kept it to myself, and...
Is this the first time this question has come up?
Yeah, we were always really scared that Jason was going to leave. We didn't want to say anything to upset him. And then from his perspective, he says, sometimes he's concerned people aren't going to want him to be in movies. Is that true?
Yeah.
I still don't believe you, even though you've told me more than once.
It's true. It's absolutely the truth.
But yeah, we just never discussed the kind of weird title, and we never talked about it.
But I will tell you, in a way, like, sometimes a title can be so relevant and has like a real meaning that's obvious, and then other times it can have a less obvious meaning, like especially like with a song or something. It just, and then there's other times when it's just completely has nothing to do with anything, but it becomes its own part of it. And in different cases, there's different examples of it. But to me, I think that for me, on my end, it's become its own thing. This movie is that title, it can be different things for different people. And Bob, writing it through the years, maybe it has a different meaning to him. So, but the title is, to me, it just always felt right, and it always sounded great.
Yeah, it's
like
good stuff.
to me.
You wrote a movie with your friends called The Darjeeling Limited. Was that always like the name of the train? Was that based on a real train or?
No, that's an invented train, but yeah, there was no title for the movie for a while, and then one day we said we should name this movie after the name of the train, and then we were like kicking around different names, and I think Roman said The Darjeeling Limited, and it just sounded like really there it was.
Yeah.
But I think about it. You know what I think about that a lot is like Guided by Voices song titles. Sometimes I absolutely know what it means, and then sometimes it's just this kind of other. It's like there's the music and the song, the lyrics, and then there's the title. It's like it's its own other beautiful thing, like a coloring book.
Who else has a question? Yes, over here on the far left.
Yeah, this question's for Jason. What was it like to work with Tunde, both coming from like backgrounds as musicians, and was there like a lot of talk of music on the set?
Okay, so the question is about working with your co-star, and you have to repeat his name for me because I forget it.
Tunde,
yeah, and he's in a band, and you're in a band. And so, what was it like collaborating, and was music a big deal for you guys when you were working together?
For sure. Well, Tunde is, his band is incredible and means a lot to a lot of people. He, I'd watched performances and videos and stuff of him before this movie ever came into my life. I was just always so like he's a real presence, like enough to think that's like it's like a rock star in a way, like he's a real like just whirling dervish of just power and everything, and so I was really nervous to work with him just because I was a fan of his music, but he's so nice. He's like the nicest person actually, or one of the nicest people I could think of ever meeting, and I think that it was interesting to get to know him through music, just talking about music, and we would go to this synthesizer store, Switched On. You guys know Switched On? Yep, obviously you know Switched On, but it's an amazing keyboard synthesizer store in Austin, and we would just go there a lot and like play with keyboards and talk about keyboards. And so it's fun to get to know someone through something else that they do, not the thing that you're doing with them. And especially that was true with Tunde in terms of art. He's an incredible artist, and in fact, like two very memorable trips with him were one was to the bookstore. He was going to show me comic books and graphic novels because that's something he knows a lot about, and he talked me through them and showed me them. We spent a lot of time, and then another time was we went to the art store, Bob, right near your house, and just sitting with Tunde for an hour in an art store, just showing you different types of clay, plasticine, and different types of watercolors. It was a great way to get to know somebody.
He's a true multi-hyphenate, that guy.
Definitely.
Very talented.
Right, other questions? Yes, right down here.
Was working with Arrow always kind of part of the story within a full vision? Because no offense to Jason's acting was great, but I feel like he really steals the whole movie.
Okay, so Arrow steals the movie, according to this viewer, and with
No offense to him.
with no offense to your performance, but they loved Arrow's performance very much, and they want you guys to talk about how Arrow was incorporated, whether he was in the original script or you discovered him through Jason, or how did that work?
Yeah, I mean, well, I met Arrow in LA, and I was very taken with him and wanted him in the movie, and the dog was a German Shepherd in the script, and it was pretty strange to know right away that Arrow was going to replace, a German Shepherd, but there wasn't any doubt. There was no doubt, and Jason had suggested I meet Arrow in a way that Jason knows like every actor you could fathom wanting to work with, and Jason didn't have any interest in saying, well, you should really get, so-and-so to be so-and-so. But Jason did say, you really should meet Arrow, he's kind of special. And so we sort of retrofitted Arrow so that he wasn't, like when they break into the house, originally the dog was meant to be kind of something that they had to deal with, and it was just going to be easier that Arrow wouldn't care that they were there. And, so we did stuff like that, and it just made sense and it worked. And I really love Arrow in the movie, and a lot of times we'd work around him, but it got to be it just got to be the way we'd work.
Totally.
Is this going to be a star-making performance for him? Are you getting lots of requests for Aaron to appear in other movies?
I haven't gotten it yet, but he's still my dog. But when I don't know, we'll talk to me in a little bit.
Well,
But
he also started acting at retirement age, basically, which
Right.
is
yeah, it's true. It's true. He's
kind of like
maybe he'll go in the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest dog actor to ever make a debut performance. But he is. But it's true what Bob says, like that. If we had had any other dog, well, I can't say that generally, but there is a thing about Arrow where he really is like inactive in a way that it's shocking. It's not like he's like all the time sleeping. He moves around and he loves people. But if he realizes that maybe nothing's going to be changing about the day, he'll make a decision to sleep until someone wakes him up to go somewhere else. And he'll sit there, and I think that it changed the way we made the movie because, like for instance, the way Larry just can talk to Arrow and just pace around and just sits there, it really is like they are like a ball and chain in a way, because if you would have like another dog, dogs are so active, most dogs are so active and looking around and want to run and play, and we wouldn't have been able to probably do like extended like monologue type things of me talking to him, because you just wouldn't have a dog that patient in a way. So I think it was really it totally changed the way we did it.
Yeah, he really influences the tone of the movie generally.
Yeah.
All right, we only have time for a couple more questions. Does anybody have a burning question we can?
You guys want to see a really cute thing? The other day I was working, and there was we were working here in New York, and there was a building, and in the building was someone that I knew by chance. And they were telling me, and they knew Arrow, and they were saying that the people below them, who were their really good friends, had just had a litter of puppies, and they'd gotten rid of all of them except for one little girl puppy, and they brought her down. It's out of focus, but look at this little person.
it's incredible.
It does. It's a striking resemblance to right?
Are you gonna take her?
Pretty cute. I can't. I wouldn't be able to. It would be too much. It would be too much. It's hard work, but isn't that amazing? That dog they literally brought down. Like it looks just like Arrow. That's what Arrow looked like when he was a puppy. It was so weird. They call her Orange because she has an orange collar. That's a good name for a dog.
Now, before you go, and we're not going to keep you here all night, but I know you and Olympia are going to go be on the Today Show tomorrow
I
morning.
know. I'm so freaked out.
And are you afraid of her, or are you not afraid of her anymore?
Fear it's not fear, it's like but it's like, it's not fear, because I feel like the people that I'm really afraid of there's like, she has nothing, there is no reason to be afraid of her, but I am a big fan of hers, and, I want her to be happy, and, but yeah, like she's intimidating, and I can't describe it, but like I just want to. Well, I don't know if this makes sense, but just as a friend, with each interaction, I want to give her money's worth.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want her to feel like, what? Like, tomorrow I'll see her at the Today Show. I don't want her to feel like, why am I on the Today Show with this guy? Why am I here? What's going on? I want her to feel like, I like this guy and I like the Today Show. Like,
Yeah.
I want her to feel proud that she's with me. But, yeah, fear is a strong word. But if I saw her, like, coming down the hallway and she didn't see me, I might, like, get out of there before she saw me, and then maybe, or at least as long as I could.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
These legends, they put a lot of pressure. They put a lot of pressure on us.
Well,
She
you guys,
she's quoting so much Greek mythology and stuff all the time that I am just like, there's going to be a moment when she asks me a follow-up question to everything that I'm agreeing with her about. And then in that moment, she's going to realize who I truly am.
so that dynamic probably played well into your on-screen relationship as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. But she's the best combination of like super smart, intelligent, and then street smart or something. Like I was describing her the other day as like someone who could probably go into any like pretentious room and like make people feel like they were dumb, and then and then an hour later like go into some like dive bar and be just another one of the people in a dive bar that everyone would love. Like she has both qualities happening simultaneously inside of her.
Agree.
All right, last chance, but I think this is all that we are able to do. So anybody have a question?
No, it's too much pressure.
Okay, no, all right, we do.
I thought you would say that to me. I was like, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Last chance.
We do have one here, what we're gonna take as our last question. Yes.
Take it.
My
Take it.
question is for Bob. Did you envision this role for Jason exclusively?
Oh, did I envision this role exclusively for Jason? Well, no, but once we started working together, it was great, and I really, but I wrote the script a long time ago. He was, like 20 when I wrote the script, so, and I had seen him act, but Larry was always going to be like 33 or 34, so I'd like to say that that I waited for you to become 33, and in a way I did.
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to think that too.
That's very beautiful. I think we're gonna have to end here, but let's remind everybody, the movie opens on August 28th at the Alamo Drafthouse here in Austin, and it is gonna be playing around the country, so please tell your friends to see this
spread the word, spread the
Texas
word.
movie. And Jason, thank you so much for joining us at the Austin
Please.
Film Society. We're
So
so glad
nice.
to have you. And Bob, thank you for making a great movie with all that great money.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
Thank you
coming.
so much for coming. Have a great night.
Bye, guys. You want to just log off now?
Sure.